for 5 minutes because of some of the things. Welcome to the day 2 of the DevConf. My name is Jitendra, Yejare, and I'm a principal software quality engineer in Red Hat. As a principal software quality engineer, we had multiple responsibilities to do. One of the main responsibilities is cloud administration. So I'm doing multiple cloud administration things, especially AWS, GC, and Azure. So I'm mostly looking into billing, IAM, that means user administration, and the compute thing. So what I learned throughout my experience is cloud is really good, right? The only thing, or except billing, right? We don't like billing. Like when we end of the month, when we get the billing, we really feel like it's something more or expected, more than expected. So we need something like Cloudwash. We need something that would clean up the resources from the cloud so that the billing would get reduced per month. So I just wanted to onboard myself with the crowd here. So my question to you all is, are you a cloud user? By any chance you use cloud in your, as a personal or as an organization, right? Okay, I see number of people here. How many of you find yourself worried when you get the bill at the end of the month? Be it a single user or as an organization. I know like many people do say that. So are you managing the cloud well is my question, right? There are multiple reasons you are getting the higher bill. So let's look at the problem, right? One of the problem could be the leftover resources or stale resources on the cloud. Let's say you have an automation, you wanted to deploy, let's say, 4 virtual machines per month. And so you expect that $4 per day, which is $120 per month. You're expecting $120 per month, but when you see that, it's double sometimes, like $220. Why is that? It is because you're not cleaning the previous resources or like leftover resources from there. So that is one of the reasons. There could be multiple reasons there would be leftover resources. One of the common cause is people generally tend to forget the resources, like delete the resources from the cloud. Be it a developer, be it a QE, or be it a user, right? We go cloud, we generate the instance there, and we simply forget. So that would be one of the reasons. Second reasons could be if you have a product bug, it might leaking the resources on the cloud. If you're a QE or you're using a test framework, maybe your teardown is not good. Because of that, you are lifting the resources out there. So there could be thousands of reasons behind having the leftover resources on the cloud. But there's a direct impact on the way you manage the cloud, right? First one you can see on your screen, which is unnecessary and unintentional money spent on leftover resources. So instead leftover resources, you are spending the unnecessary, unintentional money on that. So I'm talking about the public cloud here. And when you see the higher budget or like higher billing for you, there would be a rigorous budget discussions and decision is going to happen with your manager for sure, right? Because your manager is going to ask you, or you yourself, you're using as a cloud, you're going to ask yourself, why my budget is higher, how could I cut down them? So there will be rigorous budget and discussions and decisions. When it comes to private cloud, you see that you have a budget or you have allocated quota for creating virtual machines. Let's say you're using OSP and there is 100 virtual machines you can spin up. Or like take an example of 100 GB of RAM. So if you exceed that, all of your dependent product or test framework is going to see the impact. Your tests are going to fail. Your product is going to show the issues, right? So this is about private cloud. So what solutions do we have? Can you raise your hand and tell me what are the temporary solutions or the solutions that you currently using? Yeah, go ahead.
Closing buckets and then auto scaling. So whenever there is
Yeah.
and then using cold storage as well. So a lot of data which is not used right now can be put into cold storage, which can be deleted later.
Yeah, cloud providers do provide some of the facilities to clean up the resources by default, but not everyone is aware of that. So, what I see throughout my experience is the temporary solutions that we use is find and manually delete the resources, right? This is a very common thing to do. There would be scripts. I know like multiple teams when reach out to me, they said that they have a script which is rarely maintained, right? They are not like let's say if script was supposed to delete for 4 users and the number of users has added, it's not very well maintained, right? So, I mean that is one of the reason we have leaking resources. Now that is where we think like we need something like Cloudwash, but before that, remember, on cloud, each resources and a minute counts. Doesn't matter if you're using these resources or not. I have to say this in bold letters. Okay, so here comes the Cloudwash, an open source tool that we have developed within Satellite. It's a sorry, it's a command line interface tool to monitor and remove the stale cloud resources in public and private cloud providers. We'll go through the demo very shortly on this one, but a little bit of introduction of Cloudwash. So you should be able to install Cloudwash using pip. It's available in PyPy, so you can install with the pip install Cloudwash. There is a nice CLI utility available that is given from Cloudwash, and it's very Indian name, Swatch. So you can say Swatch Azure, so it will search for you. So it uses Rappan API behind the scenes. So there is another library which we maintain apart from CloudWash, which is Rappan API, is a backbone for CloudWash, and it uses cloud SDKs. Let's say for GC, Azure, and other cloud providers, it uses Python SDKs to interact with them. Here are some of the design principles. The most common design principle is list, match, and then report or remove the stale resources. So listing in the sense, let's say you are going to clean for AWS, you are going to list all the resources that you are looking for. Let's say you wanted to delete VMs, it will list first using Rappan API. Then in CloudWash, we have a design principle in such a way that it will match with your criteria. We will show the criteria, how criteria looks like. And those with match with that criteria would be removed or reported as a stale resources. So it's very simple design principle that we have. What are the added advantages we have in CloudWash is supports multiple cloud providers. For now, it is supporting GC, AWS, and Azure in the public cloud. In private cloud, currently it's supporting VMware. And for containers, we recently started with the Podman. So it cleans containers on the Podman. It's very highly configurable in the sense you should be able to provide the number of criteria for matching and removing the unused resources, stale resources. There are many things there. I will go through the configuration file, which will ease. Modular design. So each cloud provider cleanup is modular. It has its own module in CloudWash, so it can be extended. It could be maintained independently without changing other modules. It's highly scalable in the sense you should be able to scale it in a way that you want. Scalable specifically in the context of cloud providers, you can add number of cloud providers there. You should be able to add number of resource types per cloud there. So I will also show you that. Automation. So it's just a Python package, right? You just install in a Jenkins job and you run it every day. That's what we do in Satellite QA. So it just cleans the stale resources every day, so we don't have that much of billing issues. It's secure. So why CloudWash has to be secure? Because it's using your credentials, right, to interact with Azure, AWS, and GC. So it's very secure. We are using Dynaconf Python library for that. So for now, it allows you to do it through environment variables. You can set the credentials through environment variables. If you're using Kubernetes, you should be able to add secrets there and just set the environment variables from there and use it in your Cloudwash. There is more we are going to do, and I will talk about that in feature slides. It's mostly integration. The final thing we have, not actual final, we can do many things over there, but it provides you easier logging and monitoring. That means you should be able to run Switch or like Cloudwash in a dry run mode. That means it won't actually delete the resources. It would just show you the report that these are the stale resources you have in Cloudwash. So here comes the table, the current table. It's going to be expanded like anything. Currently, we have almost 15 community contributors in Cloudwash, and to be honest, the reason behind giving the talk here is to get more contributors. Like there are a lot of issues, or like RFEs, not issues. RFEs have been raised in Cloudwash. So you can see for VMs cleanup, we are supporting in AWS, Azure, GC, VMware. For NICs, network interfaces, AWS, Azure, VMware is there. For disks, you can see for similar. Images deletion is for AWS and Azure. For resource group, only Azure is supported for now. Most interesting in the latest version of CloudWash is OCPs, means we should be able to delete or let's say delete the entire cluster on OCP. That means not cluster in the sense it's a virtual concept, but there are the resources behind the cluster in the Kubernetes. So currently we are dry running that on AWS. Means if your cluster is deployed on AWS, we should be able to show you these are the eligible resources for deletion. We are soon going to have a actual cleanup on OCPs. For now, it's dry run. Similarly, for PIPs and stacks, you can see there. And recently, we have, as I said, we have added Podman containers as part of cleanup. I don't see. Do you see a video there in the demo? No? Yeah, it's here. No, it's here. Okay, let's run through the CloudWash real quick. Hopefully it gets loaded faster. Yeah. So today for the demo, I'm using AWS. Let's see what are the, I just created some resources. Sorry. Can you see the screen? No. Oh my God. Just wait for a few minutes. Okay. Is it visible? It's running? Okay. So we are on AWS. I'm going to show you some instances real quick. So I'm going into ES East 1. I have created a virtual machine there. Just pausing for dev. Look at the dev conf here. That means the virtual machine, it starts with the dev conf. So we are going to use this as one of the criteria to delete the virtual machine. So in test framework, we create virtual machine starts with test. That means we know that this has to be deleted after a while. So I'm going into volumes real quick. I can see the available volume. That means this is free volume. It is not attached to any virtual machine. This is going to be one of the criteria to delete the virtual machine. Sorry, the volume. This is public IPs. These are not assigned as well. And these are the network interfaces which I created. This is in one region, ES East 1. So I'm going to move to the next, which is EU North 1, Stockholm. So here is I created public IPs. Those are not assigned. And volumes. Okay, so this is cloud. Now let's move on to terminal and let's first uninstall the CloudWash because I did uninstall it first. It's very easy. Just going to do uninstall first real quick and then pip install. Sorry for this. Yeah. It's installed. Now you get switch command here. Switch. Oh, yeah. First, you have to look at the settings file. So this is the configuration file that I was talking about. You see, for AWS, we are doing the cleanup. See the auth. That means access key, secret key. I have not put it here because you are going to see that all right and copy sometimes and use our instances. That's why I did not. So it's exported as a environment variable. So this is disappeared. See the regions here, US, EU North 1 and US East 1, for which we created the resources. See the criteria below. Virtual machine would be started. The virtual machine which starts with devconf would be deleted, and the SLA minutes for deletion of that virtual machine is 120 minutes. These are the criteria for virtual machine deletion. For disks, unassigned. For network interfaces, unassigned. For image, unassigned. Public, unassigned. Similarly for other things. At the end, you will see exceptions. That means if you wish to skip one of the virtual machine, or let's say stacks or images, not to be deleted for any purpose, you can set it as an exception. It won't be deleted. I think I jumped. Oh, something gone wrong. Oh, it's just, hold on. Sorry, guys. I mistakenly go for something else. We were somewhere here. Okay. So I'm quickly jumping over things. So here comes switch command. So do switch ---- help, and you know like what are the cloud providers it's going to support: AWS, Azure, GC, and all that. And then we are going to run the dry run. That means we are going to list all the AWS virtual machines, disks, public IPs, and NICs which are eligible for cleanup. Right. So do this. You can also mention --all, which would delete all the uh, resources for that. So see how quick it is. For EU North 1, it is showing disk pips. For US East 1, it will show for all the 4 things because we have, you can see VMs, disks, NICs, and PIPs. I'll take a look at virtual machines. It starts with devconf, right? That is one of the criteria to delete the virtual machine and other things as well. Recently, we have, oh, sorry again. So recently, we have improved the reporting, and now we have something like, something like HTML reporting, which will show you in a nice format, which you can also, this one. This will show in a nice HTML format, which you can attach, you can send for monitoring and all. So that's from the demo. So again, I'm going to repeat that the Benjamin Franklin, what he said about a penny saved is a penny earned. That means if you save a penny from, let's say, Cloudwash is doing for us right now. That means saving the money for us through deleting these resources, and that's how we are earning it. I'm not sure why I'm not able to see this. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So what are the features we have? Some of the things which we have listed for V2 and V3. The current version of Cloudwash is 2.1.0. So we are going to add more things in 2.1.0. The first one is, of course, OCP cluster cleanup. OCP currently shows only dry run. I wish I could have seen you. I will show you very soon. Maybe something like this. So currently, this is how it shows for clusters. So these are the OCPs for US East 1. See the resources. It allows you to delete for multiple regions. like this. So this is currently in dry run mode, but we are going to have the actual cleanup very soon in version 2. We are continuing to support more cloud providers and resource types. There are multiple requests which I'll run through very soon. We are going to add tag-based cleanup. Currently, we are not having tag-based cleanup. That means we now only know like, okay, I wanted to delete virtual machine, disk and all. But there is something called as tag where you will be able to delete all the resources with a similar tag. We are going to add Dynacon HashiCorp Vault. This is for, oh my.
Thanks. I wanted to ask how mature the plugin, OpenStack plugin for the Cloudwash is.
Yeah, good question. And unfortunately, we did add OpenStack at a CLI level, but we did not add the backend for it.
Okay.
So currently, we don't support OpenStack cleanup, but I mean, contribution would be always welcome.
Thank you.
So I have similar question. So does it also support cleanup based on time? Like if I want to delete all the resources 12 hours ago, which are older than 12 hours ago?
For the criteria for virtual machine is there, SLA minutes, we called it as. But for other resources, that criteria is not there as of it. I mean, I will go through this settings.template.
SLA was related to it will be deleted after 120 minutes or it was
Yes.
will delete
After 20 minutes, 120 minutes.
So I am asking like if I have resources which are 12 hours created 12 hours ago.
Yeah, that's the same.
Same thing.
Yeah. So, as I said, it's highly configurable. If you wish to add that, you can simply add another option. And let's say, take an example of you wanted to delete images after 12 hours. The support is not there. It is just for now. It looks for unassigned criteria. Just add one more setting, and it should be able to do that for you. Highly configurable. The screen is up. Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Sorry.
yeah. So sometimes we have a condition where you have a like cloud formation stack and it fails to delete because there are certain dependency or sequence it needs to follow. Like without, for example, like transit gateway, you first need to get rid of the route tables and the interfaces in the transit gateway itself. So does this tool, take care of that logic that it will, delete the interfaces first and then the VPC, something like that? Like,
Good question. Thanks. Now, I think it does not, but as I said, you should be able to add that logic in the Cloudwash so that it will take care of the prerequisites first for deletion and the rest of the things. So, until now, we did not have such request in Cloudwash, which would ask, to delete the other thing first and then go for the second one. But I mean, it should not be hard to add into the Cloudwash, that logic. For that, I think what we could do is you list the resources which you wanted to delete later, or like the prerequisite resources you should have in the criteria first, and then the other resources which are dependent on that. So it will go, in a kind of interpret level. First delete the VMs, or let's say disk first, and then images first, that way. So that is how currently, but I mean, we are open to do that in the Cloudwash.
Hey, so I have one question. Generally, cloud is shared among multiple engineers,
Okay.
right? So suppose they give the same tag, but only one is being used and the other being is not, right? So it might clean both. So how will you avoid that situation?
So the credentials that is being used for cleanup, right? If it is of course, it is going to be for one user. It is maybe the resource itself is shared, but that means both the users has a responsibility of that resource type. So if one is asking to delete, the CloudWatch is not going to stop that, right? It's just an automation that runs for cleanup. It does not. I mean, if you wish to have that criteria as well, we could include that in CloudWatch. But it's something that has to be taken care at the cloud administration level rather than at a CloudWatch.
This is at the user level, you mean, right? My question is if there are two VMs with the same tag. Right?
Same tags. Oh, tag-based
Yeah,
cleanup.
test or something, right? Whatever you were showing. test VM1, test VM2.
Okay.
So only one is being used and the other is not. So this will clean both.
Oh, no, no, no. It will go clean only the VM which has a test tag. It won't clean everything. Yeah, it won't clean. I will show you that if I do have time. How much time do I have? Okay. Okay, so let's talk about features real quick. I talked about V2. Uh, in V3, we are going to have web server deployed in your own organization, which will help you to log, keep the logging, monitoring, and most importantly, alerting. Whenever you are exceeding some of the limit of the resources, you should be able to get the alert from your own web server. That's the thing. And most importantly, we're going to have cost saver calculator, which will tell you how much cost you are saving with the cleanup of the resources. Um, okay, so can you see my screen? Okay. Let me. So what we run last time is dry run mode, and I just wanted to clear the doubt. Someone asked from there. So let's say I'm running in actual mode, not dry run mode. So it should clean the virtual machine. Oh, I don't have the resources for now. They are been auto cleaned from my company's auto cleanup job. So it's okay. Okay, you will see the DevConf anyways. You will see the this US East one. Just wait for a second. So we had a virtual machine here which starts with DevConf, so this should be cleaned up. Okay, by the time it will clean up, let's jump on something which is important, which is Cloudwash. Let me refresh the page. Oh my God. Why it's coming in this way? What's happening with the navigation? Is it because of resolution maybe? Okay, fine. I mean, the rendering is not good for the page, but I don't know why on the GitHub. Maybe because of resolution. But here is the Cloudwash open source GitHub repository. You can see the number of RFEs raised here. And as I said, one of the reasons behind having this talk here is to have more number of contributors, which we are looking for. Number of RFEs, I can show you here. Let's go through real quick. You can see delete pattern based, or let's say support deleting users itself. Someone has asked for this one. Support deleting VPCs. Support deleting S3 buckets. Support deleting route S3 zones and records. Create Cloudwash service itself to store information about users and all. Add an option to filter by tag, which I said. Support for VMware Cloud, which is half done. We are yet to completely get rid of that. Opt-in retention of cloud resources means this is asking opposite of that, which is means I don't want to delete the cloud resources, just keep it. That means opt-in. And multiple things here. Cloud partner support IBM Cloud is also requested. So these are the things. Again, the good part in Cloudwash is you will have both contributing guide, how to contribute, and you will have user guide as well. So feel free to, if you're a contributor or going to contribute, feel free to use the contribution guide here. And similarly for the user guide. I did not cover something which is multiple installation ways you can opt in for. PIP package we covered today, but there is a QA image as well. QA image in Red Hat QA. Cloudwash is the third highest downloaded QA image for cloud resource cleanup in Red Hat. There's a local Minikube installation you can do, or you can also do OC, that means Kubernetes build config installation. Finally, I would like to unveil the logo for Cloudwash, taking the DevConf as an opportunity for that. And here is the logo for Cloudwash. There are stickers here you can grab. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me on Red Hat email ID, or you can reach out to me on Matrix. That's it. Thank you, guys. If you have any questions, you can take more questions.
Check. If anybody has questions, please go ahead and then ask them offline. And grab stickers, as he said.